what, like, how do you see
my
that
fixation is
out?
almost universally on the media environment when I'm having these conversations. I think when I was watching you guys talk, it was also generally on the, although sometimes you guys would try to go back to AOC, but like politicians operate kind of in a different world than the media environment operates in. Most of my criticism on the media environment that all calls themselves like leftists or socialists seem to relentlessly shit on Democrats. And I just think it's a really unhealthy and bad world, again, where you see a Michigan senator wants to dip her toes into the podcasting world. And one of the jokes I made about Kamala is one of the reasons why she probably didn't do any shows is because she would get fucked by the right, the centrist, and the left, and she goes on a leftist show and she gets fucking shit on because they only want to talk about fucking Palestine. This is a senator from a blue state, from Michigan. Jesus, that's insane to me. And it would be nice if we actually had like a strong center left.
The reality of this, okay, do you guys remember when everyone was worshiping AOC because she was like a super left, like socialist leaning person or whatever? Well, she came from fucking New York, mate. She came from New York. New York. New York. New York, the most solidly blue motherfucking place, like one of the most blue places on the planet, okay? The only place that's bluer than New York, probably, and other cities, and other, like, coastal cities, is, like, the Atlantic Ocean, okay? The only place that's bluer than these places is the fucking ocean, mate. Okay, it's the fucking Black Sea. That's the only place that's bluer, alright? It's like fucking hot springs in Yellowstone Park, okay? Mamdani, who won also in New York, who says that he's like a socialist leaning or socialist person, alright, also winning in a blue fucking place. Bro! Dude, I'm telling you guys, they will disavow. They will actually disavow. They will actually disavow Mamdani later on, okay? As Mamdani tries to expand his political career, because here's the thing, obviously people are not going to be content just simply holding the office of New York mayor, right? People are going to aim for president eventually. Everyone wants to be president eventually, right? Oh, you ascend to senator, you ascend to representative, you ascend to senator, right? You eventually get to a presidential role, right? The thing is that is the reality, right? When you're president, do you think that people are going to vote for you if you're going to have the same kind of rhetoric now? You're over promising things? No, I don't think so, right? Obviously. So yeah, of course, like fuck, like of course he's going to be disavowed by the left eventually. Of course, especially if you want him to be president, right? Anyway. Especially
position and a strong center left media apparatus, and not just a bunch of leftists who fucking hate the party and just want to shit on us all day.
Wait, do you understand our position to be that we disagree with your assessment that leftists constantly shit on the Democrats? Do you think that we disagree on that?
I'm not sure all the time. I can't tell.
So you're not sure. So we're here to discuss something where you're not sure if we agree with you on the position that the lefties constantly shit on Democrats in ways we don't like. We agree that lefties constantly shit on Democrats in ways that we don't like. We agree with Hutch, for example, when they constantly shit on people like Biden in certain ways, even though I shit on Biden in some respects. We agreed on the AOC tweets that they shouldn't have shit on her that way. And so there's no disagreement there. So that obviously isn't what we're here to discuss on a point where you're unsure that we disagree on.
I wasn't saying that we had I was asserting strongly that we massively disagreed there. So, okay, what was the counter going to say? Sorry.
I got something I massively disagree with. So, okay. I think that every single leftist that I've talked to online, anybody.
Okay. You know what needs to happen right now? I think if Wick was actually funny, and Wick actually had the same sense of humor as Dylan Burns, the same charisma as Dylan Burns, or maybe like the same like a melon, like fucking the same like emotional regulation as somebody like Prime Kai, right? He would say something like. He'll say something like, Pisco, do you want to like go and take a wink and like come before you come back so then you can have some post-nut clarity? Like you seem a little bit sexually agitated there, dude. You want to like take a wink and then come back after that? you want to go masturbate?
Who has any kind of political knowledge whatsoever defines socialists as decommodification of basic human needs and workers owning the means of production, and they use that definition repeatedly. I think that my frustration is that there are a bunch of quote-unquote social democrats who talk about universal health care, or they talk about, making rent cheaper or some shit like that, which are social democratic Scandinavian policies. And I think they're using the term socialism backdoor in order to rehabilitate the image of this. And not just that, Hassan Piker and plenty of far lefties, plenty of MLs, probably the Vanguard as well, they're ecstatic that this is happening. They're ecstatic that Mamdani has social democrat policies. They're ecstatic that AOC have social democrat policies. They're ecstatic that Bernie Sanders have social democrat policies because it rehabilitates the word in my mind. That shift of the Overton window to
or
the
maybe they agree with the policy.
is an insidious plot by twats to manipulate the Democratic Party.
I'll ask you, Connor, maybe,
and it's going to ruin electoralism.
So we're going to get some actual clarity here. So to be clear, Stephen, you don't disagree that people like Mamdani, AOC, and Bernie, they're fine to be in the party, and we're fine to appeal to the kind of issues that they care about in their positions, correct? You don't have a problem with that?
I would hold on.
I'm asking Stephen a question. I'm going to get to you and see if you disagree with Stephen, actually.
Second, I want to say something before you and Destiny talk for the next 40 fucking minutes. What I would say is that if the socialists are proposing social democrat policy, but then they get what they want, and then they try to yank the political window further left, that is something 100% that I oppose. Destiny, you and Pisco, go ahead and fight for the next.
I just want to ask, and I'll ask.
It's really simple, and this is my go-to example at the very least. Okay, if socialists want to participate in your canvassing effort for like a fucking sock damn fucking candidate in your fucking blue coastal city or in your fucking small town, go for it. Okay, fuck it, do it. You know, you should. All right, you wanna canvass for a certain mayor in Omaha, Nebraska. All right, then yeah, go for it. Fuck it. If you define yourself as a socialist and you still want to help, why not? Right, go for it. Right, if you define yourself as a communist or even a Nazi, and you want to like fucking volunteer for fucking canvassing, we need all the help that we can get. Absolutely, right? Of course, these flyers aren't going to be passed out by themselves, okay? But the thing is that are we gonna incorporate your fucking Nazi, communist, tanky ML ideas, like into not the cool ML, by the way, machine learning, okay? Not the cool ML, but your Marxist-Leninist ideas like into our movement? Hell no, dude. We're here to canvass for this fucking sock damn candidate, okay? We're not going to change our candidacy to like some communist candidate just because you're the one who's like helping us canvass and you're coming to like regular meetings, right? Like that's retarded. But anybody, literally anybody should be welcome, in my opinion, in terms of like if they genuinely are good faith enough to helping canvassing efforts, and they're not just like and they're not just like taking a bunch of flyers and then throwing them in the trash like and then tricking them or whatever the fuck, which doesn't happen, okay? Because if you show up, generally you're showing up there in good faith, okay? Because you put the effort in. Anyway, yeah.
I'm going to go to you, Connor, and see if you agree with Destiny, because I think we might all have a more disagreement with you, Connor, than we have within each other in terms of the substantive opinion. So I'm going to ask.
I have driven, like, not driven. I was in a car ride for like 4 hours in total, just to get to like a San Francisco, like a fucking San Francisco canvassing place, I think, in like some kind of like incredibly rich district. I forgot what it was, extremely left-leaning district. But like, I'm just saying, like, dude, listen. A bad faith actor, I really doubt if bad faith actor would spend like 5 hours in a car just to troll and throw away and then go back home. Like, what? There's no shot, dude.
Ask Steven, do you have a problem with these people, the people identified, Mamdani, Sanders, AOC, being part of the Democratic coalition, and however you define Democratic coalition, and having their positions catered to, or people having their positions in general as part of the Democratic coalition? Do you have a problem with that?
Okay, so there's two separate questions. So one, like generally, I'm probably almost always going to support a blue candidate over a red candidate in this current media environment, or in this current political environment, number one. But number two, when you say, do you have a problem appealing to them? I mean, that means different things. If you say, like, would I have a problem if we were to appeal to Bernie Sanders coming out and saying, I want to socialize all of the means of productions in the United States, I would have a problem with that. But if you're saying, do you have a problem appealing to Bernie and AOC and Mamdani saying, we need to find ways to make, rent cheaper in cities, and that might mean a policy like rent control that I personally don't like, but if they want to try it, I mean, I wouldn't be like fundamentally opposed to having that as part of my party's platform. Then no, I mean, like it would depend on what things we're talking about appealing to.
Like, agreed. You're okay with the socialist being at the top of the Democratic ticket in the sense of socialist.
But again,
in the Bernie Sanders
this is part of the
correct?
issue. You call it
correct? Is that right?
Connor Boy doesn't belong in this debate, Val. I think listen, it's just two people having sex, having hate sex, and three other people in the cuck chair, okay? Like, they're all trying to, like, they're in the cuck sofa, all right? That's what's
right or no?
You can't.
Am I wrong?
This is not like a simple thing. You're like doing like the what is a woman at me? What is a socialist? Like,
no,
the issue here
I'm
is
asking
that
you, do you have a problem with Bernie Sanders being at the top of the ticket?
You got to let Destiny
That's a specific question.
Top of the ticket? No. Like, if him being a senator from Vermont, no. If he was president, probably not. But
Yeah,
when you
so-
say a
so you-
socialist, if you're talking about somebody who wants to abolish by law all of private enterprise and maybe even attack the democratic underpinnings of our political parties, right, and have a single party rule, I would be opposed to that.
But you would, but you that doesn't describe Bernie. It doesn't.
Wait, did I miss something? Fuck me, dude. Sorry, I'm checking out.
Do you have a problem with Bernie Sanders being at the top of the ticket?
You gotta let Destiny.
That's a
answer your
specific question.
Top of the ticket? No, like if him being a senator from Vermont, no. If he was president, probably not. But when you say a socialist, if you're talking about somebody who wants to abolish by law all of private enterprise and maybe even attack the democratic underpinnings of our political parties, right, and have a single party rule, I would be opposed to that.
But you that doesn't describe Bernie. It doesn't describe Mamdani. It doesn't describe AOC.
No,
correct?
but Mamdani, Bernie, and AOC are on the outer perimeter of what is considered socialist, and they're attacked by the center part of what is socialist. That's my issue. You could probably find an outer perimeter fascist that I might be okay with. If he's some fascist who's like, yeah, I think we should protect America as an ethno-state, and I'm defining ethno-state as like the current ethnic composition of America, and I think that we should have like stronger rules on immigration. I was like, yeah, I probably fucking support this dude or whatever.
The problem is that, like, and you understand, and you kind of lay this out, that Bernie, AOC, these types, they come from a long tradition of democratic socialists from like UK, Australia. He brought up Clement Attlee, and this is not some fringe movement. These are democratic socialists that exist in countries all over the world. So we're not talking about this idiosyncratic belief of socialism. It's a version of socialism that exists, and you're okay with it being part of the party. So the question isn't one of categorical. You're okay with some socialists. You would vote for some socialists. I'll ask Connor the same question. Connor.
Well, but he wouldn't vote like for the social. Okay, the difference is that he wouldn't vote for the socialists because they are socialists and you support socialism. He would vote for the socialism because he would vote for the socialists because you're comparing them to another person on the ballot that is just absolutely unhinged, right? That's what's going on. But if someone is way too socialist or way too authoritarian or something, I don't think he'll vote for them. No, I don't think so, right? Obviously, like if you're voting like Mamdani versus Trump, Mamdani over Trump any day, right? But you're voting Hassan versus Trump, right? The most extreme end that you can actually take socialism, right? A fucking ML. Then yeah, you might consider voting for Trump. Who the fuck knows? Okay, at least for Trump, you know that you can survive his first term. But like, you can't just be a hindsight Andy and just go like, we have all the information of how a Trump first term might go, but then we don't have all the information of how Hassan first term might go. So we're gonna risk like losing the fucking country on a Hassan first term. You know?
Are you okay with someone like Bernie Sanders being at the top of the ticket, AOC being at the top of the ticket of the Democratic Party?
No, I would either abstain from voting or I would fucking vote against.
Okay, never mind. Connor's a retard, okay? You should never, ever, just don't even consider this, okay? You should never abstain from voting. Every single time an American citizen abstains from voting, you weaken our democracy, okay? When you lower that like voter turnout and you're contributing to like the lowering of that voter turnout, you are weakening our democracy. You are. Your voice is not recommended or whatever. It's required. It's required to have this country continue functioning, okay? You have to help maintain it by voting, all right? You can't just say, well, you know what, I'm just going to abstain from the vote. I think that everyone should automatically be registered to vote every single year. I think, honestly, like the fact that you have to register to vote all by yourself as a manual fucking process is fucking retarded. I think that every single time you renew your fucking driver's license, you go to DMV or you go through like some kind of national like fucking security thing, you know how they ask you like, oh, do you want to be an organ donor? No, opt-in organ donor, opt-in voter. Okay, there you go.
Like, for instance, if there's a moderate Republican compared to AOC or Bernie, not that moderate Republicans exist anymore, but if they existed, I would pick a moderate Republican over AOC or Bernie. I
think the bigger disagreement's between you and Destiny there. I think Destiny's
well,
some
to be clear,
in a part of Democratic coalition.
Connor's a Republican, so I would expect.
Yeah.
Also, Connor's a retard, okay? All right? Respectfully speaking, Connor's a fucking retard, all right? He literally just passed around abstaining from voting as if that is an option, okay? I'm just saying, that is a retarded take, okay?
To say that, yeah, no shit. But voting for somebody is a lot different than appealing to somebody. These are two different things, and we keep playing like this like clever game of trying to swap one out for the other.
Where do you think? To describe us.
Hold on, let Destiny finish his thought.
Well, that's it. No, I'm just saying that like appealing to somebody is a lot different than voting for somebody.
Hard to agree. I think if someone is dumb enough to not vote, they're absolutely dumb enough to vote for the GOP if forced to vote. Yeah, but also someone is dumb enough to also vote for the Democrats, right? How many wine moms do you think are like just basically yes queen Kamala Harris? But then at the same time, you know, they're like the stupidest motherfucking like emotionally dysregulated fucking alcoholics you've ever seen, right? Like the thing is that it goes for both sides, and I think that really it's better if more people vote, generally speaking, versus less people voting because you want like less low information voters, right? The reality of the situation is that you're not yeah, whatever. I mean, yeah.
I'm guessing if I was in New York and there was a plethora of candidates, Mamdani probably wouldn't be my first choice, but I'd probably vote for him in the primary, or I'm sorry, in the general. But that doesn't mean I would like want to appeal to a socialist or whatever.
But
I
agree
okay,
that
like we have to. I think there's a useful thing to look at what this actually looks like in actually existing politics, right? So in 2016, when Bernie Sanders got, I don't know, 45% of the vote in the primary, something like that. He was involved in the platform committee for the DNC. He was like a main speaker at the DNC in 2016. He was able to extract a lot of concessions to the party. Like, I think that because of him, the party added in marijuana.
I feel kind of bad for Pisco because he's been riding such a high lately, thinking he's the next big thing. He just got knocked down like 20 pegs tonight. Listen to me, okay? All right, I am the next big thing, okay? Pisco is a fake out, okay? A red herring, okay? I'm kidding, joking. All right, joking.
Legalization, a $15 hour minimum wage. I think carbon.
Hey. 133 of you guys here watching right now, okay? I want to see these likes go up, okay? All right, 133 of you guys here, likes up. All right.
Pricing. And I think maybe there was some stuff about the death penalty. I want to say that was something that Bernie Sanders really pushed to add into the Democratic Party platform.
Also consider donating. Thank you. Support the streamer. Support the stream. Open your hearts. Open your wallets.
You know, and again, that's like a very direct appeal to Bernie Sanders and like an appeal to the unity between the centrists and the socialists and the Democratic Socialists.
No, nothing. What policy there was socialist?
Okay, so
because here's where we're going to run into the problem, because nothing that you just said there was socialist, and there's this game that's played where leftists.
Destiny, you're wrong about that. You're completely wrong.
15 an hour is.
That math was off. There's only 120. Oh, I forgot to refresh the page. I lost like 10 viewers. It's okay.
Is socialist?
Okay. Do you think a progressive income tax is socialist?
Not necessarily. No.
Socialist.
Right. So the Communist Manifesto proposed a progressive income tax. Right. So
does that make it a socialist policy?
I would say, generally speaking, that the Communist Manifesto, you know, the manifesto of the Communist Party, like it probably is something of an authority on what it means to be a communist.
Oh no, I'm falling off, guys. Okay, 120 viewers. I've fallen off. It's over.
This manifesto is a pamphlet made so that farmers could read it and join a violent revolution against the state. Is that really where we're going by the defining document of what all like what like there are going to be aspects of communism and socialism that are shared by liberalism and democracy.
Oh my God, this is so bad faith. So Econoboy brings up a point. He says, "Is this policy socialist?" And as sort of embodied in the Communist Manifesto, and you go a broader point and say, "Well, the Communist Manifesto has this other purpose." That's not the question on the table.
That's not the point. So no, that's not the point. So the point is that it's not about whether or not we would semantically define something like a progressive income tax as communist or not communist. It's about these broader movements and what their general ideological disposition is on all of the different set of possible positions within the policy debate. So I would agree to your point that like in terms of socialism being the decommodification of labor and also like the collective ownership of the means of production, if that's the way that you define socialism, then obviously these aren't like socialist policies, quote unquote, but that doesn't mean that you're not appealing to like the broader socialist movement and the broader like socialist apparatus of advocacy when you propose things like a $15 an hour minimum wage. Clarity,
or
Econoboy, just for clarity, so I understand, you're saying.
Yeah, but that's like, fuck. I mean, sure, yeah, like you liberals and socialists can have shared goals, but their end goal is different, right? Their end goal is different, and even and because of how different the end goals are, socialists can in fact be. You know what it is? The reason why no one wants to work with socialists is because socialists are assholes. Okay, that's why. All right. You want to know the real reason? It's because they're assholes. That's it. Okay. If socialists want to advocate for authoritarian government and they still support all the good policies that liberals do, no one would care, okay? But the reason is because they just want everything. That's it. They want everything immediately now, all right? They don't believe in incrementalism. I think that is the fatal blow. All right, I think that's the fatal blow. It's not that, oh, wow, your end goal is different or whatever the fuck, right? It's because they want everything now. We don't want incrementalism. We want it now, okay? $15 minimum wage? No. $20, $30, $40 minimum wage, okay? We need to keep raising it in order to look better and better and better without weighing the costs of a $40 minimum wage, okay? The higher we have an infinite amount of resources in the country, and we're gonna do, no. I don't care if in 50 years we're gonna get to a $40 minimum wage. I don't care about that, okay? Fuck it, go for it, right? Who knows how bad inflation will get in 40 years, right? But the thing is the reality is there is this presumption that we have an infinite amount of money when we don't, right? Healthcare. I think that I was asking around on my own server of this like socialist regular in my server, in my community, and I asked them, do you think that we should have state-funded breast implants, like plastic surgery breast implants? And they said, ideally, yes. I cannot abide by that. I'm sorry. I cannot abide by that. I can't. All right, I can't. Like purely cosmetic, not talking about gender dysphoria or transgender related, whatever, purely cosmetic for like a cis woman, whatever the fuck. Yes. No. All right?
And when you say I want to appeal to socialists, you're saying things like, pick
moral
policies
supremacist is
that
asshole,
socialists
okay?
would also like.
I'm saying that insofar as socialists and very progressive Democrats are a part of the actually existing base of Democratic voters, they should have some proportional say in things like party leadership positions, committee assignments, the platform of the Democratic Party, fundraising.
People like bashing insurance companies for always like denying healthcare or whatever the fuck. But how do you know that most fucking insurance claims aren't like the most fucking retarded thing you've ever heard? We really need someone here who has actually denied or approved like health insurance claims or heard about them, right? Because the thing is that I cannot, like, for every single like approved health insurance claim, there is like 1,000 more like absolutely remedial retarded ones, okay? Where people try to get away with as much as possible, like and like fucking siphon everyone dry, right? It's just so stupid. What about people who have had mastectomies? What the fuck is a mastectomy?
Distribution, activist-based organizing, strategic discussions. They should have some kind of proportional say in all of those discussions.
But the problem is those people, if they truly identify as socialists and not just like liberal light or socialist light or whatever we're calling these people, they're...
Oh. Well, I mean, if it's for cancer, then yes, of course. But if it's for cosmetic only, then no, right? Of course. Right? Does that make sense? I think that's a very clear distinction between the two. Anyway.
Not going to be pushing for these outer perimeter things that socialists might agree with when it comes to liberals. So when you say like a $15 an hour minimum wage or like a progressive taxation system, that these are quote unquote socialist policies because they're mentioned in the Communist Manifesto, you don't need communism or socialism to talk about either of those issues. And what I don't like is this weird game that's played where somehow socialists are allowed to no true Scotsman every single good thing that our capitalist liberal society has produced and say, oh, well, you like vacation days, that actually came from socialism. You like minimum wage, that came from socialism. You like labor unions, that came from socialism. And every bad and shitty thing is ascribed to the capitalist part, despite the fact that that's what's even creating the necessary prerequisite wealth to even have these other things.
David, I pay $6,000 out of my pocket even after paying for insurance out of every paycheck. I'm sorry, okay, this may sound a little harsh to hear, okay, but you probably deserve to have paid that $6,000 because chances are you're a suburban middle-class person who has no problem paying $6,000 out of pocket for something like that, right? That's the reality. You're still here now watching this stream because you're privileged enough to, right? Chances are paying $6,000 wasn't the biggest deal to you in the grand scheme of things, right? 20 years later, you probably won't even remember the $6,000 that you paid out of pocket, right? Like, that's the reality of the situation, right? Like, I'm sorry, that's just the harsh truth, okay? Yeah.
The no true Scotsman.
Wait, Destiny, what does that have to do with... Wait, I don't know what that has to do at all with what I just said. What I'm saying fundamentally is that I think it's sensible to make policy concessions to the broader socialist apparatus insofar as they're a part of the base. It sounds like you don't even...
We don't have to make that's not a policy concession to a socialist. It's literally not. Hold on. Wait. No, absolutely not. If you got rid
it absolutely would.
If you got rid of all the socialists, could you still get a 15 an hour minimum wage?
Yeah.
Then it's not a policy concession to socialism.
Wait. No.
Bro, you know what I'm tired by? I'm tired by people complaining about how much money they have to spend for healthcare, okay? Pay your fucking shit. You come from a middle-class country. Pay your shit, all right? Pay your shit. Jesus Christ.
Really quick.
You're going to be fine.
Destiny, even under quote-unquote liberal economic frameworks, people in my replies are calling countries like the Nordic societies liberal capitalist societies, even though they do quote-unquote socialist things as you would just define, like social ownership of the means of production. Like, there's a lot of quote-unquote socialist policies that those countries have engaged in that people are labeling as liberalism and doing these kind of things. And it's like, whatever, if we want to have narrow definitions of things, that's totally fine with me. But I think that insofar as like the socialist movement,
listen, you want to go to Turkey? Like, you want to go to Turkey? You want to go to, like, some fucking random ass country to get a random ass, like, operation that isn't under, like, fucking United States federal standards or anything, with none of the safety regulations, and if something messes up, then, you know, they can't do anything about it. Go for it, okay? Fuck it. Go for it. All right, but if you come here, you're getting the best. Okay, not only are you getting the best, all right, you are. It's because it's a refined healthcare system that has been practiced time and time again throughout decades. That is refined time and time again because of innovation, capitalism, and business. Okay, that is how it does. It has to be refined here. It has to be refined here because in order to stay competitive in the fucking healthcare market. That's what. Because other healthcare companies are competing with one another to be like the safest, most efficient, most like catering towards their patients possible, right? Of course. It's almost like a premium kind of, right? Like the thing is that you want to go to another country and get it, fine. Buy a fucking like $200 plane ticket. Go and take it, you know, whatever. I spent a night in the ER in this shithole called Mexico and paid like $200 out of pocket. How did they do it? I'll take. I mean, go ahead and do it then. Because it's fucking Mexico, okay? Chances are the fucking healthcare isn't as good as the fucking United States, right? Why do, oh, wow, then might as well everyone just go to Mexico then for healthcare instead. Fuck.
And when we went to the topic of the debate, courting the left, right? Conceding things to the left, the broader left. I include very progressive Democrats in that who might identify as capitalists or might be misaligned in some way. That includes things like broader progressive policies, like, I mentioned the death penalty, minimum wage, things like that as well.
When I say court the left, and when I was designing this topic, maybe I could have been more clear. I'm not talking about issues that both liberals and leftists share. Like, both of them agree that we should treat kids nicely. Both.
You know what's actually going on? I think what's actually happening is that we have a bunch of boomers and like millennials, like older people who share their fucking hospital bills without telling the full story and sharing them on Facebook or something in order to farm for sympathy from their relatives. I think that's what's going on. Every single time someone gets a hospital bill, the first thing they're doing is taking a picture of it and posting it on their Instagram or Facebook in order to garner like sympathy for their relatives. And from that, it gets disseminated onto like the Twitter online space and uses a socialist propaganda talking point. Because even though the full story is not known, because the people on Facebook who post that photo, they're not telling the full story because people's sympathy would fade away. But they farm for sympathy because all these millennials and boomers are like really insecure fucks, right? Who don't have, who never go to therapy. They never like figure out like what mental issues they have. So instead, what they do is that they constantly search for validation, like a bunch of BBD seeking women or BBD men. All right, that's what's going on.
Both of them agree that we should be kind to our neighbors, things like that. I'm not talking about those things. I'm talking about things that are specifically and uniquely.
So name them.
left.
So name them. So
Well,
if
no,
you're
but,
fine,
like-
if
like,
the only
Commodification of basic human needs and
Holy
workers owning the means of
fucking-
production.
Holy fucking shit.
So Hassan is a good example, right? The example
Hassan isn't a
He is
policy. Hassan isn't a policy. If you're talking about appealing to people, Econoboy gave you a response. He's talking about things that these people care about, socialists care about. If all you're talking about is people,
No.
Holy
Okay,
shit.
so I'm going to say something that pisses me off about this conversation. Oh, somebody else started talking. I'm going to roll my eyes. Shut the fuck up, Pisco. Take your eyeballs and fucking shut them the fuck up, okay? So saying everything good is socialism is dumb as fuck.
No one said
That's
that.
not what I'm doing, Connor. What are you
we
talking
did.
No one
about?
fucking said that.
Close your eyes, nigga. Close your eyes and walk away from the screen. Close your eyes, nigga.
No one fucking said that,
for the
dipshit.
past 5 minutes.
Yeah,
Shut the
but we
fuck
didn't
up.
straw man
Shut
the
fuck
shit
up.
out of you,
Shut
Connor.
the
You're
fuck
being
up.
an idiot.
You're a fucking
All right, shut
idiot,
the
dude.
fuck
You
up.
didn't say that. No one
Hey,
said
my
that.
turn. I have the talking stick. Shut the fuck up. Okay. So saying like, oh, a minimum wage is socialist, progressive taxes is socialist, firefighters is socialist, police are socialist, teachers are socialist. This is the kind of fucking bullshit that is the obfuscation that I'm talking about, where you're basically talking about normie, lib, governmental policies that are perfectly conducive to a free market fucking state. And you're like, oh, all of it's just a gradation of the economics. Well, why don't we just go with the right-wing definition of socialism, where socialism is when the government does anything ever whatsoever.
So,
then at that point, I'm a
you're not
socialist.
listening. You're not listening.
So JD Vance is a socialist. Everybody's a fucking socialist.
Hold on. Give it to Pisco and Econoboy to respond.
Yeah, so Econoboy specifically didn't say that. I'll let Econoboy do, but you're just not listening. But I want to talk after Econoboy. So just to be clear, again, I'm grounding everything that I'm saying in the actually existing people that call themselves socialists and call themselves very, very progressive. Now, if I could just finish, Connor, with all the bullshit about interrupting. So
no, I heard it.
Okay. Well, you interrupted, so just give me a second here. I'm grounding this in the actually existing people that call it socialism, that call it whatever, very progressive capitalism or very progressive like policies in general, right? So insofar as you're saying, oh, my narrow definition of socialist policies is decommodification of labor and the socialization of the means of production, then to be fair, according to me and according to some other policies that have been proposed, that is like almost exactly what we would be doing.
Give us an example.
Wait. Can I ask a question just real quick?
I didn't come here to play the Scotsman.
Wait. Also, not the policy game. I'm just curious
because I'm doing the exact opposite.
Okay, wait. Econoboy keeps bringing up like AOC and Bernie Sanders. Can you name somebody in the media environment that identifies as a socialist that is friendly towards the Democratic Party?
Like in the mainstream,
anybody in the media environment.
Why is that relevant?
Because politicians.
I
don't want to change the conversation because politicians have to operate within the very real world of trying to get elected. So necessarily their positions are going to be probably a bit more constrained. And also these are people that, I mean, maybe Connor has, but I don't shit on AOC or Bernie Sanders. That was never what this conversation was ever about, like ever. Like I'm curious, in the media environment, are there any people that identify as socialists that are friendly towards the Democratic Party in the United States of America? A single one.
Why is that relevant to whether?
Remember, if a socialist wants to win an election in politics, they have to appeal to at least one liberal, okay? They have to appeal to at least one segment of the liberal population. So you can't be too extreme. You can't be a Twitter socialist if you're trying to run for office. You can't, right? You have to appeal. You absolutely have to appeal to a lot of liberals in order to win your seat, no matter how blue it is, okay? So yeah, you're going to be extremely constrained, right? But people when they're full mask off on social media as a socialist, they're unhinged, okay? Like they're full bashing. They're even bashing AOC now, okay? AOC. AO-fucking-C, all right? And Bernie Sanders, even though he has not changed jack shit since 2016. What? So you want like the most left-leaning thing possible, and we just keep on moving to the left forever, even though right now the country is in a crisis state where right now we are like furthering on fascism? You're still trying to advocate your stupid shit?
Whether or not
because my main criticism, I'm telling you, because my main criticism is that you're saying Democrats should appeal to socialists, and you're picking the outer perimeter socialists that are the least socialist people who have won elections by being the least socialist people, saying that the outer perimeter beliefs that we're appealing to are things like a $15-an-hour minimum wage, which aren't even necessarily socialist policies. When the issue we have is that the central tenets of socialism, like the abolition of all free enterprise, the abolition of all private property, the destruction of the political parties in the United States of America, those are the people that are dominating the media environment. And you're asking us to appeal to those people to capture people like AOC and Bernie Sanders. I'm not worried about the AOCs and Bernie Sanders. I'm worried about the people that worked for Bernie Sanders, like your Brianna Joy Grays, or the people that are running the entire left-wing media online apparatus, which is why I'm asking for a single person who identifies as a socialist that supports the Democratic Party.
Oh, thank you.
So if you're asking for a single person who identifies as a socialist that supports the Democratic Party, there's obviously a lot of those people. I just said those are 10% of the people that vote for Democrats.
Media people.
And I want to make this point because it's relevant to the conversation we're having.
Okay,
what's your relevant point?
If
every time you open your fucking mouth, I go,
you guys are. It's impossible for you guys to linearize because your whole job here is to muddy the waters. When Econoboy presented,
I think you're muddying the water. That's exactly what I'm going to accuse you of momentarily. So shut up.
You were brought in. You and Rick are being brought in to give cover to Destiny.
Counter.
I'm gonna offer.
Hold on.
I'm gonna offer clarity.
Counter. Stop. Pisco first, and then you can respond.
So
Go ahead.
clearly, with respect to policies that socialists support,
Just so mad, dude.
if what we mean by appeal to socialists is to literally propose policies